Yep.
There you go.
It is 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October
now.
8th, 2019. We are going to open the regular board meeting. We do the roll call, please.
Yep, trustees Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot,
Here.
William Luxinger,
Here.
Dina Simpson is absent, Jen Christensen,
Here.
Jared Doan is absent, President Rick Worm,
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabany,
Here.
I-Clerk Sandy Maas, I'm here, Attorney Dan Bolin,
Here.
we do not have an engineer, and then Public Works Supervisor Brett Fergie.
Here.
Would you please stand and cite the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did they say that?
Thank you.
I probably don't even know it.
All right. Will you read the items on the consent agenda, please?
Yep, up for approval on the consent agenda this evening is consent agenda item number 1, the September 10th, 2018 regular board minutes. Item number 2 is the bills payable warrant list dated October 8th, 2019. And number 3 is ordinance number 19-22, an ordinance regarding the president pro tem.
I got it, William.
Wait.
Somebody took my stuff.
I got it.
Somebody organized your girl.
We'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
At this time, does any of the board members wish to remove any item from the consent agenda for further discussion? All right, Chris.
All right, I move to place agenda items 1 through 3 inclusively as a consent agenda items. Further, I move that all items be considered together as a consent agenda.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Chris makes a motion to place items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively on the consent agenda. Jen seconds. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Jen?
Yes.
Jared is absent. John?
Yes.
Dina is absent. Chris?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
I move to adopt items 1 through 3 inclusively on the consent agenda in a single group pursuant to the omnibus vote procedures specified in the Illinois Municipal Code.
Second.
Chris makes a motion to adopt items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively on the consent agenda. John seconds. While we're doing discussion, that would have been good for the part, but roll.
Jared is absent. John?
Yes.
Dina is absent. Chris?
Yes.
William?
Dina's in at 7:03.
William?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
All right, that motion passes 7:04. First motion was 7:02. Just feel. All right, we don't have any items removed, so we do not have to do item C. Scroll down a little bit here. All I have under me today is the water bill drawing. I think David purposely sends me for this. For you? Do look forward to it. Oh, turn it over. So, should have taken these off. 360 Lily Circle.
Who?
360 Lily Circle. And we will move on to the clerk.
I'm actually going to deviate from the agenda first so that somebody in the audience doesn't have to continue to wait. Do you have that document that I sent you?
Maybe.
Oh, you're scrolling over on this side.
Let me get that back up there.
She's got the all caps again. I sent it yes, let me sign there.
Okay. For tomorrow night?
Yep. So as you guys know, we have had several residents come and approach us about building within easements. We have another resident who would like to build within an easement on that corner lot. If you zoom in, you will see there is a 10-foot easement on the back end of the lot. That lot is on the corner of Autumnwood and Sunny Hill and backs up to the park. There is not an existing fence there. It's about 20 feet of fence the homeowner is looking to install and is completely aware of the implications of the easement being there, but they have asked for approval to build there.
Are there fences on the neighboring lots?
No.
Hmm.
If Rick would allow it, if the homeowner would like to say something, he can.
Oh, sure.
He is here.
By all means.
To speak though, you do have to come use this microphone and you have to turn it on because my recording system is all connected to the microphone.
There's just a button on
That
it.
is
Yeah,
Sunny
there's
Hill?
just a button on the front of it. That is the corner of Sunny Hill and Autumnwood.
There's a round circle on it.
What's the easement for?
You can take
And
it off.
it's a utility
You can take it
easement.
off there.
There
Is
you
it
go.
an easement
No,
or
it's
a
on the-
setback?
It's an easement. There is a 10-foot utility easement. There is not a setback on the back side of the lot. There is setbacks on the front and the sides, but the building application he has submitted to Casper, we don't really need to worry about those. The one that he's looking for is on the back side.
This
Yeah.
property.
Just that
Yeah.
back corner.
And this is the owner of that property.
What easement is it?
It's a utility.
Again,
I
what
think
utilities are
it's a
there?
I don't
Comms,
know.
I think, because that's the only thing back.
Yeah, I don't
Everything else is
know.
up front.
I don't know what's there. I know that when that subdivision was platted, the 10-foot utility easement it actually runs along the back of his yard and along the side, but he won't be in it on the side, so that's
Right.
kind of a moot point. I don't know what's back there. It is back there.
You said ComEd's back there?
No,
No.
ComEd's, towards Autumnwood, just straight south.
Have you done the Julie yet?
Yeah, that's all.
Anything flagged back there?
There's drops, like communication drops, like just going to my house and my neighbor's house. But,
Where's the utility box back there? It's odd that they're in the
pretty
back
much-
in the park.
What's a communications drop?
Telephone?
yeah, TV, internet,
Cable.
Oh, I don't care about that.
yeah.
But where's the cable box though? Why is it in the back?
I was
Near the
told,
park.
I'm in the utility industry, and I was told they missed the group effort to put everything in the same trench,
That makes sense around the.
so they put it in the back.
it does.
We can't get them to coordinate amongst themselves.
There's 2 drops back there. I'm gonna hand dig that whole section, so I'm not gonna be hitting anything. I just, as you can see, if I were to take my fence, I'd have to do like 4 jogs with my fence, and it'd look really weird, and it'd be more work for me too, but.
Do you understand that if you were to build in the easement and the Frontier or whoever it is has to trench or dig, that your fence comes out?
Yes,
And that you're
I'm fine
gonna
with
pay to
that.
repair it?
Yep.
So how far is the fence coming up?
I'm fine with that.
So none of the neighbors have fences?
No, they don't.
Mhm.
You got a couple dogs, right?
That's the reason I'm doing
The
it.
electronic fence didn't work.
It does, but there's another dog now, and he's a little more stubborn, and
I don't have an issue with it. If you already know that and you don't have issues with that and you
And
get
you're willing to
Neither
sign
do
it?
I.
the sign for it, then I'm
You're
fine.
willing to
Yeah,
sign it?
that's fine.
Acknowledgement.
Sounds
back
good.
to that question, so that easement, from what I can tell, is just communications, Frontier, Mediacom. It's nothing to do with the village, right? So if someone comes in, it's gonna be one of them.
Well, I mean.
Shaking his head
it-
severely over here.
well,
It's fine
when
if
it
it
comes
is.
to utilities, and if
Plug your ears
we were
in.
to decide that we're gonna run water and
I'm
sewer in the
going
back
to
corner of
that.
the property,
Okay.
it's still utilities, but
Okay,
why would we? It's already in the front.
right.
But I mean, if we did anything.
I don't think it's gonna be an issue, that's one of the reasons I'm willing to take the
Agreed.
risk.
So it's just buyer beware.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty
fine.
much.
Yeah, no big
As
deal.
long as you're willing to sign off,
Fine
that
with
you
it.
understand that you're liable. I'm
Yes,
good
sir.
with it.
No problem here.
Okay.
What is it, 20 feet?
Yeah, 20.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
We appreciate you asking,
Yeah.
trust me.
Tomorrow, when Casper calls you and you come to get your permit, you'll have to sign that you understood the conversation at this meeting. All right?
Thank you.
You can stay for the rest of the meeting if you want. Why are you laughing?
Oh, have a
This is,
seat.
this is one of the faster ones.
Might be
Max.
entertaining.
Yeah,
Hour
isn't that
max.
fortunate?
This is literally one of the faster meetings.
And there is no obligation, so if any time during the meeting you want to leave, you are welcome.
Hey, you're not gonna interrupt us.
And we're not offended.
All right, so back to what I do have on the agenda. The first one is the ordinance that you guys saw last week. After it was presented last week, I went back and I noticed that there was some language that we had previously adopted on the building regulations that had been missed, and so I did insert that into there, which is why I kept it off the consent agenda in case there were any additional questions on it. I'm not hearing any, I
don't
can't
have any.
make motions.
I did
No.
have a question, I'm
Can I
pulling it up.
Yes. You did have a question?
I do.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it.
I wondered what was
Give me a
different
minute.
again.
Rick, do you mind scrolling down my ordinance?
Don't mind at all.
Yeah, I'm taking the long way around.
It is page 8 of the ordinance, so you'll have to go 8 more pages past that.
That's why I get the fit first.
Really are going the wrong way.
I know.
She just went to the next one, come backwards.
No. Right, keep going. Right there where it says refunds, that portion going down, if you scroll down a little bit further, that,
The refund?
and the next portion, which is the fees after work without permit. Because we discussed it earlier this year, and you guys have already adopted the ordinance with that language in it, we're just combining them all into one. This is not anything new, you guys have already previously approved it, we literally copied it out of one and pasted
Dan's
it into
nodding.
another. Yeah.
Can't hear that, but he's nodding.
Well, the
Yeah,
minutes,
Dan agrees.
let it
I
be
was
We worked
nodding
on this,
minutes.
yeah, we worked
I was
on this
nodding as well.
last Friday, so.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
so it's, like she says, no different than before, we're just
Yeah.
putting two into one.
What was your question?
26-92,
Got a page?
weeds, bushes, and grasses.
Yeah,
$250 fine for each offense.
yeah,
Isn't that up to $250 fine?
no.
No, we changed
No.
We
that.
talked about that.
It is
Yeah.
now, it is
Because if we
$250 fine plus the cost of removal.
We keep having the same issues with repeat offenders.
Yes,
That seems extremely steep for a first offense.
it's not.
Does to me.
Were you not here for that?
I was not here
Oh.
last week.
No,
It
no,
wasn't
this
last
was
week.
like.
This was
This was
weeks
months
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
And actually, not to sound, but you were one of the people that actually
Yeah.
was talking about it being $250 every time,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
To
That
be,
is correct.
to be an incentive, not,
To not have it happen.
I wasn't gonna go there, but she's absolutely right.
I wasn't trying to, I really seriously wasn't trying to be funny, but I'm like.
I'm all for giving the residents an opportunity to correct their violation. I don't wanna fine them the first time at $250.
This would be after they had the opportunity to correct their violation.
Yes,
So we're gonna fine them $250 plus the cost of us to mow it for the first time.
so,
were you not here?
I don't
I
recall
mean,
this
Dan was here.
piece part.
The first time, they're essentially just getting what our cost to mow it is. We can't do the fine without taking them to,
But that's not what this says.
that's what the law implies or says.
Go ahead, Dan.
Legal?
So, this is, was a I think this came up the last time that we did the annual fee ordinance.
It did.
This was one of the comments that came up. And the direction was, and it was previously adopted, this is not a change, what you're seeing here. But that is the intent of having an annual fee ordinance to regularly review these things, so this is fine. But the, intent was that the minimum fine would be $250 plus the removal costs. Each offense is a separate offense. This doesn't prevent the village from exercising its prosecutorial discretion to not, prosecute someone for a first offense, for instance.
Didn't we at the time have somebody specifically in mind, a bank or somebody who wasn't mowing their property?
As of today, we have 3 properties that we mow. One of them had a lien on it for, I don't know, a good 5 years at this point, so, I mean, we just mow it and continue compiling. One of them is in foreclosure and bankruptcy, and so we will never see that money. And the third one pays us as soon as we mow. So, And those are the same three that I pretty much have
Hire us
every
then?
year. They don't really change.
And the point was because we have such repeat offenders, what we discussed before was making this.
Yeah.
Well, you wanna mow your own.
Most people know.
I got halfway done today.
Are there any other questions?
I would like to see the tentative subdivision plats, the fees much higher than they are. I mean, if somebody's gonna build a subdivision here, I think $500 per lot for the first 10 lots is pretty cheap.
What section?
38-40. $500 per lot for the first 10 lots, $200 per lot for each additional lot, not to exceed 10,000. If somebody's gonna come in here and build a big subdivision, I mean, it's gonna take some reviewing to vet the issues that we've been dealing with for the number of years over the past 3 subdivisions we do have.
Well, here's the joy of this annual fee ordinance. As you guys know from passing it earlier this year, we can repass it and update it anytime you like to. So if you'd like me to, William, I can add to the agenda for discussion at the committee level next week, the fees, the
And I'm
subsidies.
sorry I wasn't here last week.
No, that's okay.
That's all right, let's get it on, let's get it on there on the next committee then.
For discussion on the subdivision fees,
Yeah.
I would still like to see it passed tonight because we
Oh,
have a
that's fine.
conundrum with the 3 of them floating out there separately. I need to get them all under one roof.
3 of what?
We passed zoning fees, and then we passed an annual fee ordinance, and then we passed, building fees. None of them are together, and so I need to kind of get them all under one roof, which was the goal of this ordinance. It doesn't change anything, it doesn't add fines, it doesn't decrease fines, this is all things you guys have already previously passed this year.
So, on the table of contents of this, charges, fines, penalties, and other regulations, I assumed when I read this that all the bold items were changes, is that not correct?
No, those are headers.
Well, there's page numbers that are bolded that aren't bolded in the, Title.
That's just a clerical error.
so how do I know what's been changed?
Nothing. Nothing's been changed.
It's just all added
I
together.
literally took, Dan, literally took the 3 separate ordinances and combined them into one. That nothing has changed, no fees have changed, no language has changed. It is all the same, just under one annual fee, so that when we readdress this, we are readdressing one document, not 3 separate documents, which is the goal of having one annual fee ordinance.
So before we continue discussion, if we could do a motion in a second, then we can get into discussion.
Second.
We need a motion first.
You said I need a second, so I was like, second?
need a motion and a second.
We should motion second, then discuss.
I'll make a motion on the approval of ordinance 19-23, an ordinance establishing fees, charges, fines, penalties, and other regulatory measures, our annual fee ordinance.
I'll second that.
Jen makes a motion to approve ordinance number 19-23. Dina seconds. Continue discussion.
No, we've already approved these separately. We're
Yep.
just combining them all into one.
Yep.
We can I assume we're actually going to have to, address these at a later time if we change.
Every June or July.
I mean, later time this year, if we, are the water rates in here too? Or is it
Yes.
just the garbage?
Yep, nope,
So we're
those
going to
will
have to
change too.
adjust.
Yep,
All right, then I'm good with this.
yeah, go.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
John,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Abstain.
Jen,
Yes.
Jared is absent.
Motion passes 7:20.
And then the other thing I have on there is a discussion on codifying the zoning ordinance. When we codified our village code into one code online, we did not codify the zoning code at that time. So the question is, well, I guess I should back up. Dan and Ansel Glink have been kind enough to kind of give us a rough codification, or so that the zoning members can understand what it is, but it is still not online and available. So, I guess I'd like to know if the village board is interested in also getting our zoning code online and having it codified.
When you say online and all that, do you mean like, is that through MuniCode and all that?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
then I would say yes, I am.
I will warn you ahead of time, I would anticipate it being $5,000 or more.
I would guess
I
that,
would-
but I would still say yes
Okay.
on that.
Is this the code that tells you that new houses need to have the numbers on them?
No, because that item didn't pass.
No, that new houses,
Oh,
the code,
no, that's the International Building
All right,
Code, those
never
are
mind.
not.
So what is this one?
This is the zoning code, the one that that you guys passed last November. It went through planning and zoning last September, I think you guys finally passed it in November.
All right.
This is the
All right.
300 pages
Yes, I
of
remember.
zoning regulations.
So I'd be a yes on that, I would say.
Yeah, I'd
it's
say
that.
yes too, 'cause so people could see it.
All right, I will get it over and see if I can get a quote, and then Dan doesn't have to do any more work right now. That's all I had under me.
Yes. Brenda?
In your packet, you see the treasurer's report for September. If you have any questions, just let me know. That's all I had.
Anybody have any questions? All right, we'll move on. Daniel?
No report?
Move on to the committees. Community development and events.
Saturday is our annual fall party. It is going to be 2 to 4 at the fire station. We're gonna have Mr. Stevens' balloons, crafts, pumpkins, refreshments. Fun, fun, fun.
What time?
2 to 4.
2 to 4. If anybody wants to come down and help, I'll take all the help I can get. That is all.
Well, that's no fun. All right, finance?
Do we have any emergency expenditures?
We do not.
How is the audit going?
Great.
Nothing further.
They were here 3 days, last 2
Mhm.
weeks ago, and here and there I get a couple of emails. They're wrapping it up, so.
Hey, you and John had that meeting here one of the days they were here.
Yeah, John and I met, to discuss, I mean, I can give a heads up. John and I met to discuss, some bids that we requested for engineering for the expansion or updating of the park. Through that meeting, I had a concern discussing with, Brett that Brett and I wanna ensure that the companies that did the bid were all bidding on the same guidelines and spec. We're not quite sure that they were all bidding under the same spec, so we're not quite, I have to reevaluate that, and I gotta discuss with John and Brett how we're gonna move forward after that, so.
Okay,
We may have to actually draft a document outlining, 'cause my understanding is that
so you're looking at bid specs.
we're gonna have to document the bid spec,
We just wanna make sure they're bidding the
because,
same item.
It's not really a bid.
Not a bid, but
correct,
proposal.
Thank you.
proposal.
Thank you.
But my understanding is that the person that did the proposals met with each one individually and just verbally gave them direction instead of documenting, and the pricing that came in is drastically skewed to the tune of over $100,000 difference between the lowest bid and the highest bid. So we're concerned that they were proposal.
Thank you.
We were concerned that they were or were not given the same direction. So we're considering documenting what we're wanting and then submitting it that way, so that they're all on the same page, and then resubmitting their proposal.
So like
For
RFP,
engineering.
a request for proposals?
Pretty much, yes. So, but,
Not so.
John and Brett and I have to discuss this further, so.
Anything further? That's a
For the ones that are wondering, this is for the,
10 acres.
fixing the pond
Oh.
and possible expansion of the park, and engineering for field lighting, Fourth Diamond.
This is only possible.
possible, correct?
Yes,
Not
Proposal.
guaranteed, correct,
Yes.
proposal,
we haven't agreed on that.
No.
nothing further.
All right, ordinance enforcement is not here this evening. Parks,
I have nothing tonight, Rick.
streets and ditches.
So much. Yeah, I know.
Pesky little guy.
Currently, the construction on Red Fox and Frosty Morning, they've did a final grade of the road and primed it. They were supposed to pave it today, but apparently weren't able to because they didn't have the grading completed. For anybody who's watching, they should be paving tomorrow. You don't have an estimated time or anything, do we?
I would assume they would be
First
starting
thing.
first thing in the morning, yeah.
For anybody's garbage who's out there, they're gonna take it down to the end so that, make sure that it gets picked up. Not you, Martin is going to take it down to the end so that it gets picked up and then return your receptacles to you.
Assuming it's out by 6 a.m.?
I assume.
Yeah, the village.
You know, if you don't have your garbage out and there's nothing to move, there's gonna be an issue with it, but, you know, as long as your garbage is out there, most people put it out overnight, not everybody. I usually wait till the morning.
Village, the garbage contract with the village requires garbage to be out by 6 a.m.
Yeah, no, I got that.
All right.
I never put mine out by 6 a.m., but I get there before they do, so that's all that matters. So they'll bring them back when they're done, and the paving should go on. Corey in the last meeting said that you should be able to drive on it, but, I don't know what the access will be totally. He said that as long as it was ruled, you could drive on it.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
Like that area in front of, like if you're coming over the railroad tracks and it's kind of in front of the fire station,
Yeah, they were doing.
Yeah, they're gonna microsurface that, is that what you're asking?
well, I was just asking what they were doing today.
They were doing that and the truck broke down,
The microsurfacing.
and truck broke
Prepping
down.
Okay, okay,
Well, Fergie could answer that better, go ahead.
That's part of the microsurface.
all right.
They were just prepping the road at that time?
No, they actually started putting
They were
micro
doing
down in
it.
one lane.
Oh,
They
It
were
looks like
doing
they
it
just
and
had
it-
like half of it.
Well, the
like
truck
ran
broke down right
Oh,
there in
alright.
front of the
Yeah.
fire station.
Yes.
they're microsurfacing right now in the other subdivision. And, people are thinking believe that it's going to be smooth. It's really not smooth right away. It takes some time for it to be, driven on and, you know, heat to hit it but it eventually does. I mean, if you come over to our subdivision or sorry, I shouldn't say ours because not everybody lives there, but if you come over to, Harvest Glen, instead of Ogle Crossings, you'll see that it ends up being relatively smooth and a nice surface, and it helps with the repair and maintenance of the road so that we don't have any potholes and cracks and all the rest. You have anything to add there?
No, it does, help quite a bit with our salt consumption, during winter. Those streets stay darker, longer, so obviously the sun, so it really helps, with our salt use.
All right. That's about it. Hopefully they'll pave tomorrow and they can start working on the siding. Will they be microsurfacing tomorrow? Do you happen to know?
Yes, they will be.
I wasn't sure if they broke down.
They're sitting there trying to,
Okay, I'm not sure if they broke down or they were empty, waiting for one of their slag trucks to come back and fill them up, so.
But hopefully that'll be happening too, so we can get it all done.
Yes, they will continue tomorrow as long as they're up and running, so.
All right? That's all I got.
Utilities,
Unless Brett has something I don't.
Nope.
Oh, yes.
Yes. What was I thinking?
We did receive payment for the cross,
Oh,
excellent.
yay.
and hopefully we'll be out of here in a couple months.
Yes. Hopefully sooner, but yes.
So that one's done.
Great.
Sold and gone. Economic development. Are you gonna be able to attend that show for economic development?
I emailed you guys.
No.
I'm not,
Okay.
not a good one.
Looks at this point in time, I will be able to attend it. Public.
If you speak, I only request that you come use the microphone. Can you double check and make sure the green light's on it? Oh.
I'm Jeff Sullivan, live in Red Fox, as Chris talked about a little bit. I guess I have concern about the road. I mean, this started June 5th. I feel like it's time to maybe look at new engineering opportunities, because it seems like it's getting worse and worse dealing with them. Because it's, like I said, June 5th, and today we get home, and the road's either closed or it's not closed, and there's no discussion on that. And fortunately, fiance runs a daycare, so it's hard for her to kind of like communicate to everybody what's going on. So I guess I want to make sure it's going to get done soon, because, you know, obviously it's going to get cold. And then the sodding, is there any
You know, they did ask us, if you could divert your sump pumps, did they ask you that?
Yeah, mine's in the backyard anyways.
Oh, all right, because, so that the dishes dry up, so they can get, Cooling and Sons, right? In the sod, in to complete the sodding. There's still a lot of water in the ditch, at least across the street from his.
Yes,
quite a
yes,
bit.
Martin has been notified. Mike gave him everything that they needed to go ahead and all the information they needed. They talked to homeowners, rerouting the sumps out the back, and everything else. So it's on Martin to go ahead and get that done. That's not Willett Hoffman's job.
No, I know. Willett Hoffman, not Willett Hoffman, I'm sorry. Martin did say that they would be here tomorrow, but then again, they did tell us they were gonna be here yesterday too.
Right, I mean, it seems like one excuse after another. I mean,
Unfortunately,
I understand it rained a lot, and 3 months before that, it didn't rain. And sure, there might have been some issues with ComEd or NICOR or whatever, but, I mean, they could have done the sodding too. I mean, I guess, so we put the sod in, it gets cold and it freezes, it's not gonna apply, I would assume, right? I mean, the roots aren't gonna take if it's cold, and they'll be dealing
Sod will be in before anything freezes.
Oh, I understand that, but is it gonna take in the spring, or is this gonna be a muddy mess in the spring again?
They're gonna finish sodding the project, so I guess I'm
If the sod doesn't take, it dies because...
It's only October, that sod will root.
The sod goes in the fall, and if
Right.
it doesn't take, they're obligated to replace it, even in the spring or
except for
summer.
that,
It's a 1-year warranty.
they are gonna put some guidelines for people not to mow the sod right
Okay,
away.
that's fine.
All right,
I mean,
all right. Well,
better than the
they
dirt.
just don't want them to tear it up because, personally,
Street projects are messy, and
Well,
this is obviously not our first one, but it,
I mean, is there a
I mean,
plan?
even when my street was done, and her street, and everybody else's,
I mean,
it gets cut out in May, and it's not even, I don't think mine was paid
it,
till
you know,
November.
this did take a lot longer than
But
what we
No,
expected.
It has, so, but the last 2 years, we've also had massive amounts of wet weather that also delayed.
It is getting,
it's, I mean, a fish tournament in Labor Day, and it was drought, and so we have a month of this time where we can blame water.
Yeah, ComEd wouldn't come do it in the heat wave either. They specifically said because of the heat, they wouldn't come out and lower their line. Yeah, we don't have a lot of recourse on ComEd themselves or NICOR, you know.
Right, I mean, but this is also 500 feet, or 500 yards maybe of...
That's true. That's very true.
So, I also have another question, about an easement in the back of my property line. I'm understanding that there's no easement, back of Red Fox. And right now, there's 3 inches of water. And again, I know it's rained, but when there's houses built, you know, they raise everything up 6 inches. And I mean, I'll have a swamp in my backyard once there's houses on the backside. Could you pull that thing up and you'll see, I don't know if that's an easement or not.
There is not an easement behind those homes. I think I talked to you or Chris.
Yeah, I was-
Yeah,
Me.
Chris. Somebody had me look it up. There is not
I
an
did.
easement back there.
Because I had the same concern, because behind my house, they built a house, actually behind, my neighbor's house, they built a house and it's up higher, and my backyard also has a lot, but I run the sump pump out there, which is where all the water ends up collecting.
So what happens when all those are houses and it raises everything up 6 inches because of backfill, spreading out the backfill?
so if I'm not mistaken, I think you opened your comments by you run your sump pump to the backyard.
Right, I mean,
The ditch system in the village is front yard. I
That's
guess
the least
The only
of it.
question would be to run it out to the front.
that's the least of the concern right now. I mean, there's 4 inches of water through the whole back end there. I mean, all those lots are, and
They're gonna end up having to be,
you're just gonna build
But
them up.
it's not a drainage.
no.
Right, but other residents have been here before, and the Harvest Glen subdivision, obviously, as everyone is aware, does not have sewer and gutter.
Right.
So it has an open ditch system. So every home, whether they're aware of it or not, should be finishing their property in a crown. your home should be the highest point, and you should bevel your land out.
Well,
Yeah, but
Like
those,
you should
those
run.
lots haven't been graded either, so
So
he's
you-
right. The lots, while you build a house up, they will level, or drain, so they should come into a
Like a
gully.
V.
Right, so
Funnel out.
you should drain, from your backyard should drain to the back, and when it gets to the side lot, should drain to the front, and it's a
who's
situation.
watching that to make sure that happens?
So when homes are built, I know we had this discussion last year or 2 years ago with Chris. And so the building inspector, when he does it, he does check final grade now to make sure that there is no drastic drain off.
Mhm.
But he does it in conjunction with what the standards are for the International Building Code. He is not, a drainage engineer by any standards, but he does check it to make sure it is in compliance with those standards.
You checked behind my house, right?
That was a few years.
Yeah, it was 2
Matt
years
Hanson
ago.
and I walked
Yeah.
through that, if I remember correctly. I remember speaking with you.
A long
and
time
Matt
ago,
Hanson,
they were
but
just
that was
checking
quite a
the
while
front.
ago.
But
Yeah,
I
so
believe
now they're
the
checking
engineer's now
entire
checking the
thing.
lot as a whole.
The
The building inspector.
The building,
Right.
yes. Our engineer is checking the ditches, out there, but we don't step foot on the lots because we're not
No,
responsible for
and
the
we've
lots,
given
so.
the building inspector the authority to let us know if
Yes.
he sees something drastic, to have the engineer look at it, but he is checking grade going all the way around the new homes.
And I mean, I'm assuming you're on Red Fox there, and the ones behind you are not built yet?
Right.
When you see them being built, and they're starting to do the grade, call Village Hall. If you think it's not right, call here, and we'll,
You probably should run your sump pump to the front if you can, though, to the ditch. Once let the ditch finish, though.
We have other homes in the community.
I am
in
going to
Harvest
run
Glen.
mine to the front.
They
'cause
they
that's
retain
where
water in
the
their
drainage is.
backyard, and it's all because of the way they landscape their yard.
Well, yeah, this is before me, it's just,
Right.
it's existing, if those are houses, we get big rain, 6 inches of rain a night, I mean, the water's gonna come in my back.
we all get
Yeah.
6 inches. I mean,
My
we get 6
window.
inches of rain, we all get water.
Alright, well,
I also have
I do.
standing water in my home, and I was told there was an easement in my backyard for the longest time, and there, lo and behold, there is not. There's just a puddle of water that sits there, so I feel your pain, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Yep.
A lot of it's just the changing the landscaping where it'll drain.
Is your fence on your line?
it's a foot away. So, yeah, I'll put the sub pump out to the front, but it's not gonna.
After the side?
Yeah, right, but it's a drop in the bucket
Next year.
compared to,
And are those two behind you being built yet?
no,
I would just say keep an eye on them, and as they're building,
But I think part of the problem is that they're flat right now, and they have no slope zones too.
well, yeah. and-
Right,
Because they
right,
should be
yeah,
like that.
and it might be a while. There's somebody built back there now, right? Is it farther down?
yeah, it's farther down.
Okay. Yeah, I think his goes back to there.
Yeah, that's why I said, those lines aren't right on the map.
So, I guess, when they built the house, they dug a 10-foot deep hole, and I don't think they did extra dirt or what was going on, but it's, 20 feet around, they used to have, orange tape around or yellow tape around it. I mean, it's been full of water most of the summer, except for like August when it was super dry. I mean, it's just trying to get an idea of how low that area is, and, I mean, kinda beat that one.
So somebody built the foundation behind you?
No, they just dug a hole because they need dirt or whatever. You look like there's,
Oh, you mean the home builder, or the developer?
yeah,
Must be New Leaf, is it?
Yeah.
But they dug it earlier and it's been sitting all year?
it's been sitting since last year.
So if they dug a hole and they put the dirt in the backyard, which is diverting water in yours, then let us know, they can't do that.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw my grass clippings in it all summer, but, also I have another question. I know there's a rework to this Red Fox. They changed the engineering side of it. Who's gonna pay for that re-engineering? Are we on the hook or is the village on the hook for the cost of changing the driveways or what are they called, the culverts?
I don't think,
'Cause I know-
we had to pay for the part, but I don't think we're being charged, an engineering fee for the curve on your pipe, or the pipe that's underneath my driveway, or, the boxes that are
The
there.
extension on the fire hydrant, because, I mean, it seems like they raised the whole road up, which,
They did raise the whole roads, at least a foot.
yeah.
If I recall, all courts that have, in the past few years I've been on the board, any court that was done has been raised, because at like the very end of the courts, so I don't know
Well,
who.
if that's
I think
true,
that's Ryan Chandler,
they
yeah.
surely didn't,
They got rid of the culvert pipes, and they put a crown in the top of the court, and so everything runs off, and the homes on the very end, did they eliminate the culvert pipes?
Did you
They
guys still have
did it.
You have
culvert
you have a
pipes?
culvert pipe, Chris?
Yeah.
I do now.
Still do
I
have
didn't
them?
before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it wasn't planned for, which is part of the problem too. I mean, if you know you're raising it up 12 inches, you should know that you're gonna need what you're going to need
This
before
may
it.
also be because he's backed up to other properties.
I recall sitting on this board, and the courts that were built when the subdivision was plotted weren't the correct size.
Size.
They had
Right.
to expand ours, they had to
Yep.
expand,
It's a foot bigger, basically speaking.
Wild.
We lost 4 feet of our driveway.
Primrose.
We-
All of my Prairie Moon
Our,
had to be.
our circle, what do you wanna call it, court,
Court.
is a foot bigger.
Yes.
I asked them about
I do
that.
recall that.
Right,
on all
but-
of them.
but they
Right.
raised it up 12 inches, and my driveway didn't have a tube under it, and neither did my neighbor's, I can't remember his address, but Challen's driveway, and he won't have one, so they put one under mine. So they kinda engineered it and then re-engineered it, but we're not paying for the engineering, we're paying for the parts,
Okay, I was just,
yeah.
I mean, it's overlooked by them, I don't.
You know, I
see
want
how-
them to fix it though, you know, when I talked to them about your driveway particularly, I don't want it running straight into the ditch, 'cause I don't want it to wash out part of your ditch, so I'd prefer that, they actually turn it to be right, so you don't have, part of your bank washed out there.
Okay.
Since I've been on this board, when Will and Hoffman's come back and said that they need to re-engineer something, they've either done it for free, or when we've identified an error, they've corrected it with no cost, so.
Okay. Sorry to bother you, one more thing too.
Not a bother.
Not
No
at
way, thank you. Excited there's yeah.
We like public.
Well, and then, this pond, you brought up the pond about relocating, I've heard a few different things, baseball field, and I guess I fish quite a bit, take some kids out there and fish, I know the bass, Stillman Valley Bass Team fishes it. And there's actually some pretty good fish, like 6-pound, bass in there I've caught this
Can
year.
you go to the pond?
So I guess my question is, I kinda understand where you're gonna dig it out, which I dig the other one out, which is, I think, good, 'cause it seems like we let the habitat set up and then pump it into the other one.
So when I was the Parks trustee a few years ago,
find it.
I actually did the restocking of the pond. It's probably been 7, 8 years, but, yeah, the plan is the erosion in that pond is getting really bad.
The levee.
It's not, I mean, it's barely 6, 7 feet deep at this point, and that levee between the detention and the pond side is deteriorating. And if you walk, which is why it's closed right now, if you walk on it, you can actually see down where water is
Yes.
permeate.
Not
So,
been on it.
they're gonna double the size of the pond and I think triple the depth.
So what does that do with,
What's
I guess,
that, 4 feet now, so it's gonna be 12 later?
No, it's currently 6 to 7, and it's planning on being 16 to 20 feet deep.
and what's the plan with the fish that are in it? Is this gonna dredge the other one out and then pull out the berm?
Say that again?
What's the plan to dredge
The plan is to, yes, the right side, which is supposed to be dry, which is the detention, the
This is
detention side.
tentative.
all right,
The plan is to make that the deep side, up anywhere from 16 to 20 feet deep, eliminate the berm in the middle, and then, let the water drain to the deep end, and then dredge the left side there down to where it needs to be, and then let, either a spring or natural rainfall fill it back up.
And part of this would be gone.
Yes.
So,
Because you're gonna put
then
forth
none of the
them.
fish would be harmed at all.
Should not be, but I can't promise it.
But with that depth,
Well,
with
limited,
that depth, you can
limited
actually get the state to stock it.
really?
Yes.
Sweet.
Stocking was actually pretty inexpensive. I think we paid $600-700 for 400 fish. And when you're stocking it, when you stock with 400 fish, you're actually stocking with like 150. The other 250 are feeder fish, you know. Yeah, the plan is not to kill it, dredge the detention side, drain it over,
Like if this is 6, 7 feet deep and you dig this 16 to 20 feet deep,
yeah.
you'll
that's
be able
the
to pull
whole-
all that water
That's
over.
the plan. So, we'll do a fish study, fish kill as needed, and then restock it as appropriate.
all right, I guess that's all the questions I had.
Thank you for coming.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
You're more welcome to come back.
Hopefully you won't have to.
Thank you.
Any further public? Closed session?
I got something still.
Oh, go ahead.
I emailed you some pictures. If you got them.
When do we, right now?
I don't know,
There
20
you
minutes
go.
ago.
Yep.
So, I've got a complaint or two about burning in the village from a business. And from my understanding, there's actually no burning allowed in the village, let alone a business.
Right.
So I would hope,
It's a nice picture of the trees.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
Burning is allowed in the
Burning
village.
is allowed in the village.
you can't burn, a business cannot burn vegetation in a large burn pile.
I don't know the regulation on that, but you
I do.
absolutely can burn vegetation.
Can't burn
If
Can't
you
burn-
are,
You can't burn garbage or
construction material.
construction
you
material.
cannot burn vegetation because we pay for vegetation pickup.
You can,
Small properties can burn, you can't burn grass, and you can only burn in small piles. Businesses
You-
cannot burn.
you
Yeah,
absolutely
absolutely
can burn the vegetation, and, it creates large piles of smoke, and so I'm very familiar with this from my days as ordinance enforcement trustee.
Businesses cannot.
As long as the vegetation comes from your own property. I don't know how.
Agricultural only.
No, we have a residential ordinance that says that you can burn in the village.
That's not residential.
I
I'm
have to
referring to
look,
business.
I have to look to see what it
Looking it
says
up.
for commercial, but the vegetation's
No.
coming from its own property, correct?
It's a business.
But the vegetation is coming from its own property.
Because we regularly have giant leaf piles burning along 72 in the fall.
I'm sorry, where is that?
That would be Rolling Meadow subdivision.
Yeah, that's from our wastewater plant.
We were burning?
No.
No, next door.
Businesses cannot burn.
I don't know that our code defines otherwise. I don't know that it specifies one way or the other. Give me 2 seconds and I'll tell you.
You'd like to put that on the agenda for next week?
I don't think it needs to be on the agenda.
Well, it looks like garbage.
It looks like garbage right
Looks like
there. It
garbage.
looks like someone
Can't-
threw it there.
can't burn.
Yeah, you can't burn garbage.
And even still, that's larger than a small burn pile. You can have
can't burn-
recreational burn.
You can't burn outside of I believe it's a 4-foot.
3x3 is the state standard.
Our ordinance is 4 foot. Says a 4-foot standard. You can burn materials grown on the property, such as leaves, tree limbs, branches, and brushes, from sunup to sundown. Burning at any time by a farmer. Special permit from the State Environmental Protection Agency. Burning of fuels for campfire, picnic, or other recreational purpose in an area 4 feet high by 4 feet in diameter and 20 feet from any structure. Burning supervised by any fire protection district. And burning of paper products by commercial businesses, but the burning must take place in an enclosed contained area before debris overflows the top of the container and must be attended at all times. Burning of paper refuse allowed only in a barrel-type container with an appropriate top.
So then you would be correct, businesses can't burn brush. Paper only.
It doesn't say business or
container.
commercial, but what it does say in here, though, it doesn't say whether or not it's commercial or residential.
Still
Dan?
more than 4 feet.
So just quickly skimming the, EPA, regulations, the, only landscape waste can be burned and only that which is generated on the property. You can't, truck in landscape waste from other properties or commercial waste. And all of this is subject to the more restrictive, local regulations if there are any.
My understanding is that waste comes from that property.
4 by 4 foot circle.
If it's a recreational, it needs to be on a 4 by 4 foot. The way it's written, I can't define, I'd have to have somebody do some research as to how that
You should
impacts them.
just talk to William.
If that smoke then is bothering residents out there, are they supposed to come here then and voice their concerns? Or
My
where are
first
we at with that?
position is that this is a violation, and then not only that, we need to take an official stance as a village to the IDOT, because when they burn, they burn into multiple restaurants, a clinic,
Well, they're also bringing them
Veterinary.
off-site.
yes. I mean, I understand they're the state and they supersede our local ordinances, but we can take an official stand, because when they burn, it is a 100% nuisance to the local business community and the residents.
Who's they?
IDOT.
And IDOT did that?
No. I'm,
But if this is
Two
a violation, if this is a violation, when you get, if you look it up, find out if it is or not, we'll send them a letter and say, you can't do this.
That is beyond my means to look up, so if you're okay with me expending a little bit of funds to have Dan look that up and let me know what the official position is, 'cause our ordinance itself doesn't specify commercial or residential, and if they're burning brush from their own property, that's allowable, the garbage is not.
so,
So we could send them a letter on the garbage if
I
they
would-
feel comfortable with that.
I would say, because my position's always been, Rolling Meadows is a business,
Correct.
that if we're gonna allow them to burn, what's stopping the veterinarian clinic from burning?
They don't have 20 feet from a building on
Yes,
their,
they do.
on their property.
Yes, they do. They have more, they can burn within, they got more than enough room to burn away from 20 feet of their property.
What are they
In
gonna
the
burn?
backside?
That's beyond the hypothetical here.
Race cars.
But it's not, they'd have to be burning the brush from their own property.
So let's say they cut grass and collect the clippings, and they put it more than 20 feet, they can burn it?
Well, then again, let's address
They
it at
should.
committee level. If we wanna change this to make where we have businesses can't burn,
Yeah, just change
then we'll change the ordinance.
That's why I said put it on the agenda for next
Let's
week.
find out where it all lies though first,
Right.
what our ordinance says and what legality is, and we can
My
always,
understanding, from my many years on this board, even residents can't burn grass.
we have people regularly burn.
Yes, they do
burn.
all the
Because,
time.
because
We
they
had-
get free,
No, they burn
So
all
we
the
don't
time.
understand why they
We
do
had
burn
a, we
grass.
had a
We've
resident
always
that
wondered
did it.
why.
Then
And we
people
told them to
complained
stop.
about it.
No, that
We
never
actually
passed.
had somebody
That
who
never
burned in the vicinity of your home,
That's
who
fair.
constantly would burn in large brush because they have fantastic landscaping, and the smoke would offend the residents, and I'd get phone calls and I'd
and
go look at it, it
my
was
recollection was, we
brush.
told them to stop, because they
It
get,
failed at committee.
they get brush pickup weekly.
Did not tell them to stop. I went over assured that it was brush from their own property and left it be, because there's nothing you can do. Our ordinance says you are allowed to burn.
Then
Brett?
either then it was an oversight for many years, or it has changed, because
It's always been.
I recall
The
you-
whole
Well,
time
how
I've been on
about
the
for,
board.
how about for next week, we
Discussion.
Right.
look,
All right.
thank you.
Me too.
I will add it for discussion next week.
I'm sorry,
and then
did
we
you,
can
did you wanna
decide
add
what we
something?
The only thing I was gonna ask, just so I understand, is if they are allowed to burn, whether it be grass, brush, whatever, and that smoke does bother neighbors, someone close by, are they just out of luck, or how
The
does that
same
work in this?
situation I had with the properties over by his home, there's nothing you can do. If they are burning within the regulations of our ordinance, there is nothing that we can do. It's a courtesy for your neighbor, but, I mean, our hands are tied. That's what our ordinance says. If we wanna change the ordinance, that's different.
And my recollection, I did try to do that as an ordinance enforcement trustee, ban burning within the village because of the closeness of the houses, and it failed. I don't know that it made it anywhere. You know, Ken Deal was sitting as president at the time, and I remember the position was, well, we live out in the country, we should be able to burn all we want. And what people don't understand is when you have a close proximity of 12 feet, maybe the most, between some of these houses, and somebody's not smart enough not to burn on a windy day, it does cause people who are asthmatic, pregnant women, there's also cancer carcinogens within that as well. And we did look at that, and I believe it failed, as far as passing it.
That would be a yes, because our ordinance doesn't say that.
But
So
we
let's bring it to next
revisit
week.
it, I
We'll bring it to the
All right.
committee, we'll talk about it there. And if this is, since it does have garbage, let's find out where we stand on everything else
Garbage is
before we.
no.
Well, I know, but before we send them a letter.
Why do you
burning
think that
is
has
also not
garbage?
allowed.
The stuff
Or-
down on the
That's
road.
definitely not brush.
We're making the assumption it's garbage, we don't know that it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
And we're
would
making the
make that
assumption that Rolling Meadows is who did that, not somebody else that
Well,
lives
I will
there.
tell you, Chris,
So
it's not
we're
brush.
making a lot of.
Well, you know, it looks like a bag that you stick the brush in. That's why I'm saying it, because that's what it looks like to me. You know, and I personally, because they pick up the brush, I just stick it in the bag and stick it on the corner.
Too many people talking.
That is a violation, because you can't burn paper products, that's actually, obviously, brown paper products, and the
Outside of
ordinance does
container.
say that burning of paper products by commercial businesses, burning must be taking place in an enclosed, contained area, that's obviously not enclosed or contained, so.
All right, next week. Anything further from public? Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Microphone?
You gotta
He's
use
bringing
the
it to you.
microphone, hold
Nice
on.
to see you again.
Oh,
Well, I have a question. If you read the Ogle County ordinance thing, am I supposed to have something?
yeah, you're supposed to put it to your mouth and talk.
Okay.
There you go.
If you read the handbook that the Ogle County puts out, you will see that they don't allow burning.
Ogle County doesn't.
We are in Ogle County.
But we supersede them.
But we,
Within our village limits, we can supersede them.
Okay, but how far down? I'm in the village limits too.
Mhm.
On the other side of the road, I can go over and burn it because I'm not in the village limits.
Mhm.
Common sense. Yeah, I'm not going to go over there and burn
Then you're
garbage.
kinda lucky, then you can go across the road and do that.
So, everybody has to have rules.
yeah.
I'm okay with the burning within reason.
Yeah, but then who has to define within reason?
Small,
People with
contained.
common sense.
Then you gotta define small and contained.
Absolutely, 3x3.
All right, well,
Sorry, it's
Next week.
4.
Closed session. So we're gonna enter to closed session, so at that time we'll have to ask you to leave the room. We can't make any decisions or vote on anything in closed session. We will have to come back in an open session to make any decisions. You're more than welcome to wait in the lobby until afterwards, if you'd like to. It's only 8. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll make a motion
my
to move
laptop.
into closed session to C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity, and 2C11, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting.
I'll second.
John did.
Well, he's not speaking into his microphone.
Good call.
Dina made a motion to go in closed session under sections 2C1 and 2C11. John did second. Roll call.
Chris,
Yes.
Want to make sure I had both.
William,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Jared is absent. John?
Yes.
Dina?
Yes.
Passes 7:58. Right.
All right, go.
Motion to reconvene open session.
Second.
John makes a motion to reconvene open session. Jen seconds. Was it Jen?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Thank you, Jim.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We are back in open session at 8:15. We will take the appropriate action as discussed during closed session.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
John makes motion to adjourn, Williams seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 8:16.